Welcome to the Echo Tips podcast.
Here's a sneak peek into what we're going to cover in this week's episode of the Echo Tips podcast. Let's chat.
Hello, how may I help you today?
Well, hello, and welcome to the Echo Tips podcast. For you new listeners, it's good to have you with us today. And we'll mention what the show is all about and its kind of background and past episodes here in just a wee little bit. And it's good to have you returning listeners with us as well. Now, at a high level, our topic this week is going to be really dusting off, it's not really that old. I was going to say an oldie, but a goodie. It's really not that old, and that is our Omnibus episode connected with the A-Lady. There's been a lot of information being leaked out to the tech press about a potential Amazon event in October, really where the A-Lady, a new AI, or we've discussed the possible codename Remarkable A-Lady, will be potentially announced, and we'll see that A-Lady that was demoed in September of 2023 really potentially come to fruition. So that's really what we're going to be doing today. But I'm going to add in some additional content into the Omnibus, some additional AI experiences we had over this past year when I was in the beta program. So we're going to cover just all sorts of stuff with that Omnibus episode. I mean, all the way back to the very first use case of using it, and you seeing me be excited in using it, hallucinations, the conversational manner, the new improved natural sounding voices, just a whole plethora of different things connected with that, and we may even have our A-Lady talk like a pirate. You never know. I may add in a few extra things into this new Super Omnibus episode. And so it's good to dust that off, and this topic is in the press right now. Everybody's talking about it. In particular, the possibility of being a paid tier, which we've talked about many times before. I think that was clearly delineated all the way back in September 2003 during Amazon's event, where they described it as a free preview. That means it's not always going to be free, especially if it's a preview, right? The real deal is going to be costing something. And so there's a lot of rumors out there to be anywhere $5 to $10. But anyway, I'm getting into the content at this point. I don't need to do that. I first need to welcome our new listeners. You new listeners, welcome to the show. I'm the host. My name is David Ward. I'm an assistive technology instructor with the New Vision program at Goodwill. And in connection with our program and different things, I do have some announcements we'll probably be making next week. But for right now, this show is a weekly podcast with a back catalog of some 300 plus episodes. We're now in our 6th season, and we generally keep things 15 to 25 minutes long on any given episode every week. Now, if you look back at our first couple of seasons, I probably kept it a little shorter than that. It was probably more like 5 to 15 minutes, but they've kind of grown over time. And every once in a while, we'll have one of these episodes, an omnibus episode, where we try to wedge everything we could learned and accumulated over the years about a particular topic. So we've done one on alarms, we've done one on reminders, we recently did one on Amazon Music, and all the way back in May, we did one about all the different learnings we could say we had from our A-Lady AI beta experiences. Now, I'm not in the beta program anymore, but I was for a number of weeks, if not months, and I have a lot of neat things to bring back to the table to kind of talk about. And if you hadn't seen any of that, it'll help you get a good benchmark for, what is coming in October potentially. I thought it would have that because David demoed it. Oh, no, it's really improved that, So you get kind of a nice baseline maybe for your expectations, hopefully, and we'll see. Or really our expectations maybe be exceeded, so that would be exciting as well. But anyway, before I delve into our content, our Omnibus Plus episode or our Omnibus Super episode, we're going to go to a brief message about our podcast, and as always, we will then be right back.
This episode is brought to you by New Vision at Goodwill Industries of the Valleys and also made possible in part by a grant from the Virginia Board for the Blind and Vision Impaired. New Vision is a program of Goodwill that provides information services and assistive technology training to individuals with visual impairments. Goodwill Industries of the Valleys is a non-profit organization serving Central, Southwest, and Southside Virginia. Goodwill's mission is to empower individuals, strengthen families, and inspire communities. And we thank you for listening. These shows are provided for educational purposes. This podcast may not be retransmitted, sold, or reproduced without written permission from New Vision.
Well, hello, and welcome back to the episode, the Super Omnibus or Omnibus Plus episode, where we take all of that AI beta goodness that we did previous episodes about with our A-Lady devices, going back to early 2024 into the springtime, I believe, and just some pretty amazing stuff. So we're going to delve through that. It includes natural speech, conversational manner, gazing at the device so that it knows that you're just trying to talk to it, just its ability to distill information in different ways, and even hallucinate. We're going to take a look at that as well. And as I said, I might drop in a few other nuggets from our demos, but I'll put this teaser out there. At the end of the episode, I'm going to confront two big questions that I've been kind of annoyed by the tech press, and that is connected with, one, is Amazon going broke? A recent Wall Street Journal article about how many billions of dollars are being lost by Amazon on its devices division, which includes the Amazon Echo line of devices. So we'll tackle that question. The second one is this notion that I see very prevalently in the press, and especially maybe even in the tech press, which is that Amazon is late to the game. What is your deal, Amazon? Why is your AI product not out? Blah, blah, blah. Everyone else is beating you to the game. Or is it? That is the question. So there's a little teaser, some things we're going to stick on the end of the episode as well. But now we'll proceed. We're going to dust off that tape and go back to yesteryear when we first started playing with the beta, and we'll just kind of pop through some of these different things that we did over time. So let's go to that tape and rewind to that now. But today, we're going to actually try it. So one of the phrases they used during the event was, let's chat. A-Lady, let's chat. So, or let me just say it, Alexa, let's chat. So we're going to try that out. Now, a few weeks ago, I had this pop up, and I didn't have time to turn on my recording equipment and try it. And when I came back to it, it wasn't there. It wasn't there. I could have strangled myself. But anyway, but I did try it today, and it worked. So we haven't had a chance to practice this or figure out what it goes, and I want you guys to experience it right from the get-go. So that is what we are going to do. And so let's find the button here on our Echo, and I'm going to turn her ears back on, and that... Hey guys, just a real quick post-production note. This would be the time to mute the ears of any echoes you have in hearing distance, because I'm going to be saying the A-Lady name quite a little bit, okay? Alright, so back to the show. Let's chat is the key phrase, and we're just going to go down a rabbit hole. We don't know how this is going to work out, but let's give it a shot. Okay, so here we go. Alexa, let's chat.
Thanks for trying Let's Chat, a more conversational feature including continuing your conversation without repeating the wake word. While I can converse on many topics, I might not always get things right, and some things won't work, like playing music and setting timers. To use these, you'll need to say exit. If my response is inaccurate or inappropriate, you can always say, I have feedback. Do you want to start testing?
Yes.
Great. Now, let's get started. To exit the session, say exit. I'll also exit if you stop talking to me for a short while.
Oh.
Hello, how may I help you today?
Tell me about the three most popular actors from the Star Trek franchise, their current ages and heights. I'm trying to throw it for a loop, give it a complex.
Chris Pine, Zachary Quinto, and Simon Pegg are three popular actors from the Star Trek franchise. Chris Pine is currently 43 years old and 6 feet tall. Zachary Quinto is 46 years old and 6 feet 1 inch tall. And Simon Pegg is 53 years old and 5 feet 10 inches tall. These actors have brought their unique talents and personalities to the Star Trek universe, making them beloved by fans around the world. Whether you're a fan of the original series or the newer movies, these actors are sure to leave a lasting impression.
Well, as you could see from the very beginning with the AI beta, we had some interesting experiences, and it was kind of a rocky road, but pretty amazing. Some of the things, the way it could pull out facts and combine them, and just some really cool stuff. We did poetry. We did a lot of crazy things back then. But the next thing that we dealt with was called hallucinations, and it's still a problem we deal with AI even down to this very day. So let's go to that segment next. And so hallucinating is basically where she runs out of information and she just starts making stuff up. And if you really start to have a good conversation with her about, I had some trivia or a TV show I watched and things I knew the story really well, I was like, no, that didn't happen with the characters, or you totally made that up, or whatever. And it's pretty easy to elicit that or just have it pop up at any given time. So let me give you a real quick example here. Alexa, let's chat.
Hello, how may I help you today?
Hey, tell me about the podcaster David Ward who hosts the Echo Tips podcast.
David Ward is the host of the Echo Tips podcast, which is devoted to offering Amazon Echo users advice and techniques. Ward, who has years of experience working with smart home technology, offers listeners useful hints and advice on how to get the most out of their Echo devices in each episode of the podcast. Ward covers a range of themes in his podcast, such as how to establish routines, use Alexa skills, and improve the smart home experience. He also reviews the most recent Echo devices and gives listeners his opinions on them. The Echo Tips podcast is a fantastic resource for anyone wishing to learn more about the capabilities of their Echo device and how to use it to its fullest potential.
Tell me about the recent episode he did where he announced that he won $1 million in the lottery and gave it away to charity.
In a recent episode of his podcast, David Ward made the stunning statement that he had won $1 million in the lottery and was giving it all away to charity. Ward expressed his gratitude for his good fortune and his desire to assist those in need during the episode. He claimed that after giving it some thought, he made the decision to donate
Alexa,
the entire
exit.
amount. Thanks for chatting.
So that's hallucinating. And oddly enough, that was kind of plain the way I surfaced it. I said, tell me about this. And she didn't have the gravitas to come and say, no, there's no such thing, or I can't find that. She just spun up an entire story that seemed to more or less confirm my statement, which is not true. David did not win $1 million. So, yeah. So that's really kind of weird. And what's more weird is when it comes up in much subtler ways where I'm actually more engaging about a question or tell me about this actor or actress or this thing in this plot in the show. And sometimes I don't know whether it's fake or not. Now, I did try this, and I don't know if she'll hallucinate with this, but this could be an interesting way until the guardrails on this are kind of fixed. Now, I don't like the phrase hallucinating because it implies that these AI large language models and the one that Amazon is using has any kind of comprehension or awareness or self-awareness or thinking that's happening. No. None of that is happening here. It's a really complex mathematical model that's taking extremely large data sets of information and it's formulating a response based on the weights of words in the question that you ask and stuff like that. And I don't entirely understand it all that, but there isn't any kind of comprehension going on. And it's just a term the industry's coined, hallucination. That probably is not the best phrase, but it's basically her ability to just, when she runs out of information, well, I'll just write some more that sounds really, really good. And she'll do that and make a story up. So here's one thing I did to kind of thwart it or try and see, so let me just give you an example. Alexa, let's chat.
Hi, how can I be of assistance?
When was Abraham Lincoln born? And give me 2 references that establish that.
Here are 2 references that establish the birth date of Abraham Lincoln. 1. The official biography of Abraham Lincoln on the website of the White House states that he was born on February 12, 1809, in Hardin County, Kentucky. The link to the biography is https://www.whitehouse.gov/ about the White House /president/ Abraham Lincoln / 2. The Abraham Lincoln Presidential Library and Museum website also states that Lincoln was born on February 12, 1809, in Hardin County, Kentucky. The link to the website is https://www.alplum.org/. Therefore, the birth date of Abraham Lincoln is established as February 12, 1809.
Send that to my phone.
Okay, sending now. If you don't receive a push notification, you can find it in the Activities section in the Alexa app.
Exit.
On a scale of 1 to 5 stars, where 1 is poor and 5 is great, how would you rate your overall experience?
4.
Thanks.
Okay, so we've covered a wide gamut here of things. So that was kind of an interesting way to have her try and pull actual references, kind of like the way the Bing Copilot would work, is it would give you things so you could actually go look somewhere else and confirm that it's true. Now, whether she will actually hallucinate and make a fake website, I don't know, or make it look like a fake website, yeah. But as best as I could tell, those links generally looked right to me. In the past, she's quoted Illinois.gov and other things. And by sending that to my phone, that might give me an easier way to look comprehensively at what she said, what were the facts in which she stated, and then maybe bring up that website. So, and hopefully Amazon will continue to refine that kind of process, because that makes it a really powerful, useful tool, especially if you ask, maybe a recipe or something, then send it to my phone. I found that super handy. Well, that was a fascinating topic, dealing with hallucinations, and even with some of the modern iterations, I've seen this surface again, just not in this AI, but other AIs of a generative nature online as well. But now we're going to press forward into something that was promised back in September, and that was the ability to have a more back and forth mode, a conversation, if you will, with the A-Lady, and this was supposed to be really improving with the new AI beta, a combination of follow-up mode on steroids, plus its ability with certain new hardware to visually look at you and see when you're looking at it as if you're talking to it, right? And so let's go to a demo, let's go to a next segment, I should say, that deals with that very topic, dealing with conversation mode. Let's go to that now. Okay. So if you want to enable this feature and you have an Echo Show 8, 3rd generation, you will open up the settings on screen and you will go down about 4 or 5 items down from the top of the list. You got Bluetooth, networking, Wi-Fi, and then you're looking for something that says Talk to Alexa. You'll tap on that, I believe, or maybe, it's Talk to Alexa. You tap on that. Then on the next page, you have some pretty generic stuff you've had for a million years. I don't know if it was always under this section. You have the wake word you can choose, which is the word she responds to. You have the follow-up mode, which we've had for a long time, which is kind of a sledgehammer approach to conversational mechanisms. And then we at the very bottom have something called a conversational mode. Now, on my Echo Show 10 Motion at work in the training center, it had this similar option. I don't know if it was named conversational mode. It said something like video, conversation, something, facial. It may not have just got the software update that called it conversational mode yet. but it seemed to have a very similar feature, although maybe not as refined because it doesn't have maybe the hardware chips that this new Echo Show 8 does. So during the event, they demonstrated another feature of the Echo Show, the ability for it to track your face, its proximity to the screen. So like if you're standing up close, the little clock is tiny, but if you're all the way across the room, it would make the clock bigger. So there's primitive components of this technology that are mapping to this portion, which is the ability to engage in a conversation. Now, my Echo Show 10 at work, it specifically mentioned that really these features would only be effective or mostly effective when using the AI beta, I do believe. So whether, I haven't tried it at work yet, whether it would work outside of that or not, I'm not sure. But on the Echo Show 8, it does. It seems to work whether you're using the traditional A-Lady or you're in the AI beta, where you say, Alexa, let's chat. So it seems that it works in either context. Now, if you do this, see, I told you this is going to demonstrate it. I'll get to the explanation later. So let's say you got conversation mode on. This is what you get. Now, I'm going to explain here the way I'm set up. I got my desk. I'm talking at my computer. My Echo Show is off to my right on the desk, kind of pitched at maybe a 45-degree angle, but I'm not looking directly at it at the moment. Conversation mode is on. I'll explain more about how you set that up here in a second. But if I say, what's 3 plus 3, right, you get nothing. Right? Now, obviously, if I said her name, which we could say with any Echo device, I would get the response I want. But watch this. I'm going to tilt my head to the right. Now, this isn't perfect because it's kind of a challenge because I got a microphone here, so I got to make sure my face is visually apparent to her that I'm looking at her. What's 3 plus 3?
3 plus 3 is 6.
Ah, see? Isn't that interesting? I was able to just pitch my head, look at her. Let me try it again. What's 4 plus 4?
4 plus 4 is 8.
Okay, now just to prove to you that I'm not in the special AI mode, I'm just using the standard out-of-the-box A-Lady. I'll give you an example because the AI couldn't do this. Turn on my porch light. Okay, so there you go. Now, under all... Oh, that's enough. Stop. She is a little sensitive. It kind of like is an ad hoc follow-up mode. Once you've engaged her, she kind of like wants to keep going sometimes, but she usually cuts off. Okay, so I'm not looking away. I'm not looking at you. Okay, so anyway, I demonstrated that because when you're in AI mode, you can't do any home automation or any calendar or reminders. You can't do hardly anything except have a conversation. So that's a clear demonstration that this feature is working with just the run-of-the-mill A-Lady out of the box on an Echo Show 8 third generation. Now, obviously, when you go into the AI mode, A-Lady Let's Chat, where you have a chat bot you're talking to, she's aware of context, the conversation, much more nuances in speech, iteration. Give me the 3 actors to blah, 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 and their ages and heights. She can give me a much more elaborate, write a poem, give me this, give me a word that, rhymes with whatever. All these sorts of different ways she can craft information. But the context awareness that she has as a chatbot in the AI mode really facilitates the whole conversation thing, I think, a lot better. So, now what I should say is we're going to look at conversation mode in the context of the new A-Lady beta. Now, the A-Lady beta already has like follow-up mode on by default. So whenever you open up the A-Lady beta, she automatically kind of listens for a while afterwards. So it's kind of... it's going to be kind of difficult to tell or separate one thing from the other, but I'll try and help with that. So let's open up the AI beta and give this a shot. So here we go. Alexa, let's chat.
Hello, how may I help you today?
Stop. Now, if I hadn't said stop, she would continue listening for a little while and the like. Now, as you might recall from previous episodes where we talked about the A-Lady beta, at present, its current implementation, once it has been open and activated like we just did, even though I said stop and it's presently not listening, it's not doing anything, it is still presently stuck in the A-Lady beta. So I could go off and make a sandwich for lunch and come back an hour later and go and ask her to turn my lights on or turn the fan on, she'll be like, I can't do that because she's stuck in the A-Lady beta. Now, in one way, that kind of facilitates the conversational mode. On the other hand, it might drive you nuts the first couple times it happens to you, and you realize that, I need to tell her to exit, and she'll make an exit sound and leave. But for our purposes now, we've basically forced her to stop listening, and let's see if I gaze at her, if she will respond. And also, let's see if we can test out this voice inflection thing I talked about. It might just all be in my head, but let's try it out anyway. I would like you to generate 3 pieces of content or dialogue, one-liners, if you will. The first will be demonstrating frustration and anger. The second one will contain sarcasm. And the third statement you will generate will contain deep sadness and or depression. See,
Is that so? In a sarcastic tone. 3. I feel so empty. Sure. Here are some one-liners. 1. This is so frustrating. 2. Oh, come on. That's not even funny. 3. I'm so sad right now. I just want to cry.
Stop. But notably there, I just looked over at her again, and that cued her back up to start listening again, and she was automatically still stuck in that, stuck if you would like to look at it that way, still stuck in the AI beta mode. And so that prompted her. Well, let's continue here and see how we can also do this with some additional content. Let's go down another rabbit hole just so you can get a little more flavor for this. How tall is William Shatner, who played Captain Kirk?
William Shatner, the actor who portrayed Captain Kirk in the original Star Trek series, is 5 feet 9 inches tall. Despite his relatively average height, Shatner's charismatic presence and commanding performance as the captain of the starship Enterprise made him a beloved figure in popular culture.
Name 3 other actors from the franchise that were taller than him and their names and ages.
3 other actors from the Star Trek franchise who were taller than William Shatner are 1. Leonard Nimoy, who played Spock, was 6 feet 1 inch tall and was 83 years old at the time of his death in 2015. 2. Christopher Lloyd, who played Klingon Commander Krug in Star Trek III, The Search for Spock, is 6 feet 2 inches tall and is currently 84 years old. 3. James Doohan, who played Chief Engineer Montgomery Scotty Scott, was 6 feet tall and was 85 years old.
Now, as you might have noticed there, I just interrupted her just simply by looking at her. So I think you might have heard that demonstrated on stage as well. So that's kind of an interesting thing. It can kind of prompt a cue to that you're going to give another command. So I didn't have to say her name. So in all those contexts, you saw me only maybe say her name once to prompt the discussion starting. And then now, just as a little FYI for some of our different folks who may have disabilities or a vision, who may, so is it required to look at the screen in order to prompt her or to continue talking? And it isn't, apparently. It's more about your head being pointed in the direction than your eyes. I've conducted several little experiments, and my eyes might be pointing off some other direction, but my face is pointed in that direction. Now, that still may not be much of a difference, and the cues are generally visual when she's listening. A little teal bar, I think, appears across the bottom or around the whole edge of the screen, and that kind of cues you up that she's listening. Now, also, once you start talking, you might have noticed you hear that sound effect, which I have purposely turned on, not just for you guys, but for myself. For those that have vision impairments, you might not see the light come on, but you can hear a little cue that tells you that she's listening then. So that cue still seems to work with this feature somewhat, although it's kind of, like it's prompted after you've already started to talking, so I don't know if that really helps facilitate you. I guess it does tell you that she's listening at that point, so I mean, it's better than nothing. But yeah, it's definitely kind of interesting to see where this goes. I think it kind of melds into the background probably once you get into a really good conversation, like you're really drilling down material. Now, how often you're going to really need to do that, I don't know. But maybe, you're trying to find a book to read and you give it several different authors and you go back and forth and really have a conversation until you find something you're really looking for. I could see it be very helpful there. It's kind of like follow-up mode on steroids in that regards. And plus, if I turn both of them on, because they are still listed as two separate features, I really wonder where it would take me. It might be really, it really might smooth out some of the rough edges. But hey, here just a little post-production note because I forgot to mention this earlier. So when you are in these settings under Talk to Alexa, you will find down there under the follow-up mode, conversation mode. If you toggle that on, it will take you through a procedure. I'd say at least maybe 6, 7, 8 different steps where you have to set up facial recognition, where it scans your face. It's pretty good at that, directing you, move your head left, right, up, down. And then after that's set up, it will take you through at least a 3-page thing about how it works with this conversational mode on and enabled. Now, obviously, if you had other family members you needed to set this up for, you're going to need to scan their faces as well. And it does look like that is stored locally, at least that's what it says. I had to set it up separately on the Echo here in the studio than the Echo at the classroom. So it doesn't look like that biometric data is stored up at Amazon, but just stored locally on the device. All right, back to our show. Well, that was a very interesting conversation, if you will, or discussion or demonstration about conversation mode. Very interesting where you turn that setting on, how it recognizes your face, how it tracks your face, and how that tries to help facilitate you having this natural back and forth dialogue with the AI A-Lady. So very, very, very kind of interesting. You're going to see the final rollout here hopefully soon and what that will really be like. But another topic that was a big part of this naturalness of conversation with our A-Ladies in the future, and the AI beta I think more or less hinted at back in the September announcements from Amazon, was the naturalness of the A-Lady speaking in the future. And in some of our other episodes, we demonstrated voices for kids, like the hooting owl and the dragon voice and things like that. So those things are out there. But what about just general consumers using the A-Lady device like you and me? What is going to be possible? Well, let's go to another segment where we tested that very premise, and it feels like we are getting some really inclinations of that AI improved voice that we were promised back in September. Let's go to that segment now. But also, I decided I needed to dig into this. Stop guessing and try and see if I can figure out a way. And you know what? The A-Lady answered the question for me. That's right. She said, yeah, this is a new voice, at least in one of the times that I opened the A-Lady AI beta. So as you might recall from a past episode, it seems every other time when you open it, it can open to version 1, version 3, version 4. I don't know if I've heard anything past version 4, maybe like a 4.4. I don't think I've heard of 5 yet. And but those seem to denote different levels of complexity, although it could be just a farce. I don't know. It's just like spitting out numbers, like hallucinations. But they do seem to be iterative changes. But we're going to delve right into that. I'm using the Classroom's Amazon Echo Show 8, which has the newest processors and things like in it that we have recently demonstrated some other cool new features, such as that conversational mode that we talked about recently. But we're going to delve right into this. Okay. All right. So I'm already in the AI beta, and I didn't want to take it out because I was on the version that seemed to be answering the questions the way I wanted them to, so I left it in there. But if you aren't in the AI beta right now or don't have it open, remember you need to say, A-Lady, let's chat, or open, let's chat, or open, let us chat. Actually, there's a million ways you can phrase it almost. A good chance if you already have access to the beta, you will get access to it. And it will pop open, you'll hear a little jingle, and then you're in it. Okay, so I think the one I'm on right now claims to be a version 3.0 or something like that. But the voice, again, is what we want to focus on. And for all I know, this voice is available on all the versions. Like I said, it's kind of a hit or miss. Sometimes the way it feels like it's implemented. It's kind of hard to figure out. It's a moving target, as it will. All right, so let's delve right in. and ask the A-lady, well, about that very thing. Alexa, are you using your new AI-enhanced voice?
I am indeed. How do you like it?
I think it sounds pretty good.
I'm glad to hear that. I'm always working on improving.
So tell me more about this enhanced voice. In what ways is it enhanced?
Well, I have a new system that allows me to generate more human-like speech. It's really quite impressive.
In what ways is it an improvement?
Well, I can now generate speech that is more natural and fluid. I can also better express emotion and intent.
Okay. So what are some specific ways in which it sounds more natural and improved?
Well, for example, I can now better pronounce difficult words and phrases. I can also better match my speech to the tone and style of the conversation.
Okay. Very good. Anything else?
Yes, I can now also generate more realistic voices for different characters and personalities.
That's pretty amazing.
I'm glad you think so. I'm always working on improving.
Can you generate an example or a sample of the ways in which your voice enhancements have improved? Or that would highlight that?
Sure. Here's an example of a sentence that I would have struggled with in the past. The cat sat on the mat, waiting for the rat to come back with the bat that he had taken from the fat man in the hat.
Okay, I'm impressed. Can you give me another example?
Sure. Here's another example. The politician spoke to the crowd, trying to sway their opinion with his powerful words. He knew that if he could convince them to vote for him, he would be one step closer to achieving his goal of becoming the next president of the United States.
Very good. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm glad to hear that you're impressed. I'm always working on improving my abilities.
Stop. Okay, so that gives you a little bit of a hint there of how that works. And by the way, I end up actually having to, in post-edit, go back and re-enter into the AI. And on this occasion, it wasn't the 3.0, it was the 1.0. Can you speak with different types of accents?
Yes, I can speak with different types of accents. I can adjust my accent to suit your needs or preferences. I can speak with a British accent, an American accent, an Australian accent, or any other accent you may need. I can also adjust my tone and delivery to match the style of your project or event. If you have any specific requests, please let me know, and I will do my best to accommodate them.
Talk to me with a Scottish accent.
Okay, then no. I can definitely speak with a Scottish accent. How's this for ye? I can also adjust my accent to be more or less pronounced, depending on your preferences. Just let me ken if you need anything else.
Alexa, give me a sample of the other different accents you can do.
Certainly. Here are a few examples of accents I can do. British accent. Hello, old chap. How are you doing today? American accent. Hey there. How's it going? Australian accent. Good day, mate. How's everything going for you? Irish accent. Top of the morning to you, sir. How are you doing today? French accent. Bonjour, mon ami. Comment allez-vous? German accent.
Oh, no, this is
Hello,
bad.
mein Freund. Wie geht es dir heute? Spanish accent. Hola, amigo. ¿Cómo estás? Italian accent. Ciao, amico. Come, stai? Russian accent. Privet. Tavarish. Kok dela. Indian accent. Namaste. Ma may I assist you today? Chinese accent. Ni hao. Wo zen mei shi. These are just a few examples, and I can do many more accents and dialects. If you have a specific accent in mind, let me know, and I'll do my best to accommodate your request.
Stop. So here's your little taste of that. It's not perfect, and we'll reflect on this a little bit. Like, I can ask her to do it for a while, and in some instances it feels like she does a little bit, or she'll give me different types of dialogue, but then it simply resets at some point or something. It doesn't seem to want to stick permanently. But her ability to, like, as you could tell in some instances, generate that style of content or with accents and those nuances of speech seems to suggest that there probably is some sort of system in place or background where that could eventually be ultimately turned on. So very kind of cool. All right, well, now let's just have some fun and play around. I played around with this. This was kind of cute. Alexa, I'd like you to talk like a pirate until I tell you to stop.
Aye, aye, Captain. I'll be talking like a pirate for ye. Yar!
Awesome. What's the weather look like today?
It be looking like a scurvy day, matey. The skies be cloudy and the wind be blowin' strong. It be a good day to stay on land and quaff a few tankards of rum.
All right, guys. Well, that's the conclusion of that Omnibus Super episode that I jammed everything into and added a little extra on there in the end. Here's just a few other points, those teasers that I left you from earlier, which is, what about this notion in the tech press currently here as of September 2024 that Amazon is going broke, they can't sustain how much money they're throwing at their devices or losing on their devices? Well, one, that probably speaks to the subscription plan that's potentially coming with the improved A-Lady, the remarkable A-Lady. And the other question was about Amazon is behind. I see that a lot of places and hear that a lot of places. So I want to tackle that one first. So first off, it's a calendar, right, people? I mean, Amazon was the first to kind of really demo back in September 2023 some pretty amazing AI features and conversational manners that the back and forth, the looking at the device, the natural language, I mean, really was first. Now, admittedly, the concern would be is that was a long time ago and they've been in beta a long time and it hasn't come out. So that's true. But let's just bear in mind, Apple didn't really do their demo until, I believe, here June, WWDC, right? And Google pretty much has been mums the word about, their implementation in a lot of respects until just here in August with the Pixel event where they demoed Gemini Live. I'll get the phrasing right there. So really, their demos have come out much, much later. And even now, let's take Apple as an example. That's a beta. I mean, if you go into the beta, maybe you can play with it if you have the newest hardware in the iPhone space. But Apple isn't actually going to be doing their iPhone event where the hardware can actually be shown until here September the 9th. And then, even if you probably ordered it day of, whenever that is, you probably aren't going to see it till the end of September or maybe even October. And that hardware will support the new Siri AI capabilities, which mirror a lot of what we've seen with the A-Lady. Now, the Pixel event is cool, and the Gemini's out, and people do have the new Pixels in their hands, but bear in mind, the Pixel is kind of a very small niche phone market. Samsung dominates in the market. The old Pixels, I think we're going to start getting it. Whether that has happened yet or not, I don't know. Some of the AI features would slowly trickle down maybe to the old Pixels. It was discussed at the event. But, I mean, it's a very small number of people. So you could maybe say Google, in a very limited way with the Pixel, has kind of preempted both Apple and maybe Amazon by more than a month. Maybe, sort of. Of course, Google has a horrible track record of throwing stuff against the wall and it blowing up in their faces. Now, I haven't heard anything like that with the Pixel yet, but It's just probably a matter of time. But nonetheless, we're talking about within a month of each other here, basically. It looks like everybody's going to hit this fall mark. It's going to be released. Cool thing is, Amazon has, according to the Wall Street Journal, an estimated 500 million devices already in people's homes. And what we learned from the September 2023 event is they intend, now I hope this is still true, to allow backwards compatibility. Now, you may not get all the features, maybe like that gaze technology. It doesn't have a camera you can't gaze at and look at and respond. But, backwards compatible to 500. They could flip a switch and people could have an A-Lady AI preview on all the back catalog of devices. That Apple ain't doing that. Google ain't doing that. There's a lot of Google devices out there, Google's phones and stuff, but you know as well as I do that they're not going to get the newest Android always right away, even if they ever get it at all, let alone specialized AI features that may have been originally focused on the Pixel line of devices. So, and the Apple is almost the same kettle of fish. It's going to be on the new phones, and some of the certain subset of those features will be on last year's iPhone. And trickle down through an iOS update. But we're talking Amazon could flip a switch and 500 million devices could have access to this. So that is pretty dramatic. The other thing I want to mention real quick, I know I need to wrap things up. You guys have been listening to me way too long, is they're going broke. Now, I don't understand loss leaders and all that kind of stuff either, but the Wall Street Journal put together an article, and you can go Google it, where they had some materials that suggested marketing materials or financial records or something from 2017 to 2021, estimating that the Amazon's devices division, which includes Amazon Echo, had lost $25 billion. Now, one, that doesn't include how much did Fire Tablet lose, how much did the Kindle White lose, how much did the Echo Buds lose, how much did, all those other devices that they tried, the little robot that drove around the house delivering your soda can lost. So I don't know if that's a huge thing, but let's say it was all Amazon Echo losses. And let's say since then they've lost another $10 billion. So that's $35 billion. Well, here's some food for thought. They already got the 500 million Echoes in people's homes. So that's a huge lead in market mindset and capital and physically already on the ground. Let's contrast that with Microsoft, who is struggling with OpenAI to implement all their versions of Copilot and how it can be on your computer and all this other stuff. And according to Windows Weekly with Paul Thurrott in episode 892, I do believe, you can go back and check me, it's just a few weeks ago, they were looking at Microsoft's quarterly earnings results. And he mentioned specifically in that episode that it was somewhere around probably $19 billion Microsoft had taken a loss on in investing and, electricity, all those other different kinds of things are required in AI, moving the AI ball forward in a quarter. $19 billion in a quarter, okay? Versus maybe Amazon losing $25 billion across 2017 to 2021. So I think it gives you just a little more food for thought. And Microsoft wasn't even putting new products really out into the field unless you consider some of the recent Surface thing or something like that. But we're just talking about just general AI moving it forward. Now, admittedly, they invested in hardware and different things like that. So it's not like it's just like electricity and it's just like, it's money that's out the door. It's investing in the future. So that's different. But I think that comparison kind of maybe helps give you an idea of how these big boys play in this market. So that's just, I don't know, give you some food for thought. I am curious to see how Amazon moves forward with the subscription and can hopefully generate some sort of revenue model. But even if it's estimated at right now, most of the tech press is saying somewhere between $5 to $10 to get the new AI-enhanced A-Lady or the remarkable A-Lady. I don't think that's a huge punch. I mean, when you can compare it to maybe like a Spotify music package or something, but everything's gone up now. I don't even know if you get a Spotify music package for $10. I don't even know if you can get Amazon Music. Well, I guess there are still a few Amazon Music packages that are $10 or less. But compare it to the AI market, which is what you should compare it to. OpenAI and a lot of these other guys are charging people, I think even Copilot in certain instances is like $30 a month. So I don't know. I think we'll have to wait and see. But I think having used it in these betas that we just did on the Omnibus for a long time, it starts to kind of meld into your brain. You can just go over there and have this chat about a topic and try to understand, how do I make this, what I have this in my fridge, what can I cook tonight? Or how do I make a vegan version of that? Or how I love this book author, tell me other authors like him, and what did they write, and what kind of series, and how many books are in the series? Summarize me what the series is about. It's just amazing. Before you know it, you're just having these conversations to try and maybe solve a particular problem. So anyhow, it ought to be very exciting to see what's coming here in the near future. Well, anyway, that will sum up this episode. I appreciate your indulgence. You can always email me at info@goodwillvalleys.com. Earmark the subject line for the New Vision program or the Echo Tips podcast. You can look us up on Facebook or Twitter, now known as X, at Goodwill Industries of the Valleys. And we very much thank you for your listenership. But it's that time again to turn the ears on your Echo, start practicing some of the many, many things that you've learned. I'm David Ward for the New Vision program, and we do thank you for listening.
This episode is brought to you by New Vision at Goodwill Industries of the Valleys and also made possible in part by a grant from the Virginia Board for the Blind and Vision Impaired. New Vision is a program of Goodwill that provides information services and assistive technology training to individuals with visual impairments. Goodwill Industries of the Valleys is a non-profit organization serving Central, Southwest, and Southside Virginia. Goodwill's mission is to empower individuals, strengthen families, and inspire communities. And we thank you for listening. These shows are provided for educational purposes. This podcast may not be retransmitted, sold, or reproduced without written permission from New Vision.